So, feeling lost as a student is totally normal. I felt it after I finished my A-levels, I felt it entering university, during university, and in this video, I'm going to give you a step-by-step guide on how to feel a bit less lost. So the first step to not feel as lost is embracing the feeling of being lost through active rest, not passive rest. Every day I time block my time, I organise my day to build a day that makes me happy and not one that makes me feel worse afterwards when I go to sleep. I characterise everything into mind, body, heart and spirit. So for your mind, I like to read and I like to review my flashcards. For my body, I like to run and lift. Okay, for my heart, I love to spend time with my girlfriend and meet my friends in the gym. For my spirit, I like to make these YouTube videos and play my guitar, okay? And if I do those 4 things every day, I feel much happier. That's active recovery for me. And when I do those things every day, I feel a little bit less lost than I would if I didn't. So if you can, try and find what your things are for your mind, your body, your heart, your spirit. And if you can do those things every day, it builds this ability to feel a bit more directional towards a goal that you're going towards. And if you focus on the action every day and try and master that action, it makes you feel a lot better when you go to sleep because you feel like you've got a direction, you feel like you've got a purpose, you feel like you're going towards something. And the reason why I'm trying to say embrace feeling lost, embrace the boredom, is because a lot of people, I think, are using passive rest. We're not naturally supposed to be talking to people on like text messages. We're supposed to be in person with them. We're not supposed to be like binge watching Netflix throughout the day and scrolling social media on our phones. It just doesn't make us feel good. So whatever your thing is, with your body, it might be yoga or taking long walks with your dog. Whatever it is, just try and find that and focus on that. My whole family are in medicine. For a long time I thought doctor, going to medicine, that's like my path, that's where I want to go. And I slowly realised it wasn't, because I love maths, I love physics, and I love learning deeply about those things and applying them to a creative outlook, and that's why I like engineering. And for a long time I was working for something that was expected, and if I could go back and give myself some advice, just pursue what's meaningful to you. And for me, I knew that doing engineering would be meaningful for me because I'm quite talented at maths, and that's what you need to find, what excites you, what makes you like you. And it shouldn't be what everyone else is doing, it should be because that's what you want to do. And in Aristotle's words, the more contemplation, the more happiness there is in life. Contemplating one's place in the universe was seen as one of the most important, worthwhile things to do. And like, it's more important than money-making side of life. And I think the most common regret, I think, is not staying true to yourself and focusing on what others expect of you too much. And to be honest, like, I didn't have the answers. I didn't know anyone who was in engineering. I didn't know what it would be like. And I was really curious. I didn't have the answers, and I still don't have the answers. But don't chase prestige. Don't chase what other people are going to think of you when you do that certain thing. And I think that's what stems by feeling lost, because you've kind of lost your true self. Is this disconnect. I was doing something because I wanted to feel that prestige, that meaning of like something, but now I'm doing engineering and I feel more centered in myself and I'm really happy with what I'm doing. But also within engineering, I have no idea what I want to do with what different field and stuff, and that's going to be me listening to myself, me journaling, sitting down and realising I still don't have the answers, and that's totally okay. The third one is the passion myth. This comes from the book Be So Good That They Can't Ignore You, and I love that. I chose to do engineering because I knew I was very good at maths, and I know I can be so good at it that I can't be ignored. And I think when you have those intersections between what you're talented and you're gifted at and you can be so good at, and you put a lot of work rate into that one thing, you can have that ability to be so good that you can't be ignored. I think saying to someone, be so good at something that they can't ignore you, is much more important than saying follow what you love, follow your passion, because a lot of people are passionate about something that they can't be so good at, unfortunately. So for me, I try to adopt the craftsman's mindset. Whatever I can become so good at and I could work towards mastery, and that's what's fulfilling to me. And I believe in deliberate effort. When it comes to studying, I don't get into flow anymore. It's deliberate, it's hard work. I had to sit down, have to have my notebook out. I can see what time I'm studying from and when. And it's hard, it's really hard work. It's not fun in the moment, but afterwards I feel so fulfilled. And I feel like the passion for me is in the doing. It's not the feeling afterwards, it's the feeling of that deliberate effort. It's that feeling of struggling through a guitar lick or struggling through a hard proof that I'm going through in maths and solving it. And that for me is where my fun comes from, and that's where my joy comes from. It's from struggling through something, then like finding a solution that's like, oh, everything clicks. And that's not passion for me, that's the craftsman's mindset. The next point is embrace the pathless path. It can't be described because, to be honest, I don't know what path I'm on, but it's different for everyone. But to explain it a little bit is being open-minded, to wonder, not to worry. Be bold, not smart. When you wonder, you think of life as something you can gain from, not lose from. So when I did this YouTube channel, I thought of all the things I can gain, not what I could lose. Not like worrying about what people thought of me, but thinking about, actually, if I don't do this now, it's a disservice to the people around me, and it's actually a sin, because I could have been doing like so much more, and I could have helped people, and I could have helped my previous self, people just one step behind me. And that's what motivates me, is because I'm thinking of the things I can gain, not what I can lose. And the pathless path is always having that wonder with life, feeling excited, not scared, because it's a very subtle thing. They feel exactly the same, but they're very different. And I think with the pathless path, just like I chose engineering, not medicine, is that you won't find the answers from anyone else. You'll find them from yourself, because I believe you know what path you want to go down. And the only time you will actually figure it out is when you sit down and you ask yourself, and you talk to yourself, you listen to yourself, and trust your own ability to think. I'm guilty of this, is that I keep losing that ability to listen to my gut feeling, what's right, what's wrong, and believe in myself. To be honest, I don't know where I'm going, but I'm excited, and I'm happy to see and find out. The next point is Callard defines aspiration as a slow process of trying on the values that we hope one day to possess. What values do you want to be? And this comes back to Atomic Habits book, where he talks about you can create whatever identity you want for yourself. And I think that's beautiful, because, for example, I've got dyslexia, but I always knew I wanted to be an academic. I wanted to learn things deeply, and that was for me to find out. That was for me to actually create a habit of studying and go and be an academic, okay? And when you try on different values, when you try on like, oh, do I actually value grades? Are they actually that important? Or is learning things deeply in my university degree and making the most out of the courses I actually enjoy and kind of like half-assing the ones I don't, is that better? Create a different identity for yourself and see if that's what type of person you want to be. Find your path experts. Whatever you want to do, medicine, engineering, go find someone who's actually doing that, be around them, and see if that's something you'd want to do. So for me, when I wanted to be a doctor, I shadowed a couple doctors, and I realised it's not something that I want to do. It's not something that will make me happy, it's not a life that I want. And that's really useful, because when you do that, you can pick a path that's yours, okay? And I think most of the time, the path that's out there for most of us is not determined. And to wander, to be excited about it, but not scared. And find your path experts, learn from people from YouTube. The next part is journaling. This is probably the most important thing I do on a daily basis to help me feel a bit less lost. We believe things that are not always true. And writing it down on a piece of paper, reflecting on it and thinking, okay, how can I change my mind about this? Going through these irrational beliefs that you have about yourself and changing them and interrogating yourself, because unless you're lucky, a lot of people won't bother to ask yourself the hard questions, and you will normally try and avoid them. So having a piece of paper in front of you, sitting down and asking yourself hard questions is so vital. If you answer these questions, this shifts the focus from the future to the present. And I did this when I started my YouTube channel. I kind of like asked myself, look, am I going to regret not making a YouTube channel? Am I going to regret not studying hard? And I always do this. I think, what's the worst thing that could happen? And most of the time, it doesn't matter. And to be honest, if you're living your life to please others, it's not a great life anyway. You should be pleasing yourself. That sounds a bit dodgy. But yeah, work on the hard questions, on what's inside your control. And I've been doing this thing for a while, on and off, called like tracking your virtues. And these are some that like I kind of like tick if I got right on the day or if I didn't. Courage to be disliked, the courage to take action throughout the day, the courage to focus on the things in your control, just courage, okay? Discipline, I pride myself on trying to be more disciplined. The next one is cheerfulness. In the face of adversity, laugh at things, you know, don't take yourself so seriously. It's one thing I do a bit too much. When people are taking a piss out of you, just laugh, like it's funny. And this leads on nicely to humility. Always be a student, always be learning, always listen to others actively. And the next one is honesty, being honest with yourself. This is the main one for me. Obviously be honest with others, but being honest with yourself, with what you're doing throughout the day. And that's why time blocking my time is great, because I can see if I've binged YouTube, or if I haven't been doing my mind, body, heart, spirit things throughout the day. And another one is work rate and wisdom. And it makes me feel a bit less lost, because I know if I've checked those virtues off every day, I know I'm a good person, and no one else can tell me that. And it makes me feel a bit more fulfilled.